Okay, so good evening once again to Ekow Annan, the channel of Ekow the poet. Yes, you should know that I don't only explain some popular poems, but I also write my own poems. Yes, I have more than 30 written poems, and they are very nice. They are very nice. You should check them out. Just waiting for the appropriate time to publish them, and so that it will be it will be easily accessible for many people to have its hard copy to read. Okay, so today, as I said, I will be delving into one of the poems by Robert Frost titled Birches. Uh, Birches is one of the poems that really talk about the ordeal that William Robert Frost went through. The Williams are still occurring in my head. Usually, when you talk of the Williams, talk of the great William Shakespeare himself, William Wordsworth, and the other Williams. Yes. And when you talk of Birches, I said it talk about the ordeal. The other time I talk of the background of Robert Frost, and you saw that it was very, very gruesome. Robert Frost had a very gruesome background. Very gruesome background. Okay, so today we'll get to explaining Birches. As I said, to understand a poem, you need to read the poem aloud to yourself, check the meaning of the title, some glossary of words, probably some literary devices later, diction, tone, mood, structure. All these are things that can help you to better understand or better appreciate. We appreciate poems. Better appreciate a poem. Okay, so let's start by reading the poem to ourselves. Okay, so the poem, let's see. Birches goes this way. When I see Birches bend, see this poem, we did it in SHS. It was one of the poems that, in fact, we discussed. Madam Rebecca won't, how do you call it? Won't leave a stone unturned when it comes to poetry. Okay, so when I see Birches bent to left and right across the lines of Shekadaka trees, I'll think some boy been swinging them, but swinging them doesn't bend them down to stay, as ice storms do. Often you must have seen them, whether with ice a sunny winter morning after rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored, as the stair cracks and crazes their enamel. Soon the sun warmth makes them short crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust, such heap of broken glass to sweep away. You think the inner doom of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the weathered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed. So low for long, they never right themselves. You may see their trunks arching in the woods, years afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground, like what? Like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say when truth broke in, with all her matter of facts about the ice storm. I should prefer to have some boy bend them as he went out and in to fetch the cows. Some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was what he found himself, summer or winter, and could play alone. One by one, he subdued his father's trees by riding them over and over again, until he took the stiffness out of them, and not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was not to learn about not launching out too soon. Instead of carrying the tree away clear to the ground, he always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing carefully with the same pains he used to fill a cup up the brim and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a switch, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So was I myself, a swinger of birches. And so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of considerations and life is too much like what? Like a pathless wood. Where your face bends and tickles with the cobwebs. Looking at closet and one eye is weeping. From a twig having lashed across its open. I would like to get away from earth a while and come back to begin all over. May no fate willfully misunderstand me and half grant my wish and snatch me away. Not to return. Earth is the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I would like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb black branches up a snow white trunk towards heaven till the tree could bear no more but dip its top and sets me down again. That would be good, both going and coming. One could do best. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. So that is the meaning of, or the reading of the poem Birches. What does the title mean? The title stands for a tree that has its branches coming down for children to be able to swing up and down on it. So that is what the title of the poem means. Usually in our native communities or in our communities, you would see a tree that have has its branches lowered so that children can swing it up and down. That is how the birches in this poem is portrayed. So let's move on to the line-by-line analysis of the poem. The other time I talked of the background of Robert Frost. You would need the background of Robert Frost to understand this poem very well, because Robert Frost was deeply affected before he wrote this poem. Deeply affected. And I made mention of some of the things that happened in his background in my first video on my channel. So you can refer to those videos and explanations and check the background of what's happened to Robert Frost during his time of stay on this earth. And indeed, he's died in 1963, recently died in 1963. Okay, let's deal with the line-by-line analysis of the poem. Line by line. So someone asks, what is the theme? What is the theme? What is the subject matter? Is the line by line or the total explanation of the poem that will tell you the subject matter and the themes as well. So when I see birches bent left and right, the poet is saying that when he sees that trees have its branches bent left and right, what does he think? That it's across the lines of straighter, darker trees. Straighter, darker. Something that is straight, that is also dark. Dark symbolizes something that is not very bright. That is not heaven-like. It is from the underworld. I like to think some boys been swinging them. When he sees those trees, he wish. Robert Frost just wishes that, oh, it's a boy who has swung it that have made a tree bent. Because sometimes the boys can swing the birches to an extent that the tree cannot go back again. The tree is bent forever. It is beneath forever. As ice storms do. So he he brings two things that can make the tree be in that stature. One, the boy. Two, the ice stone. So let's see, which is Robert Frost assuming is the one that have swung or that have made the birches as they are. At the end, we'll get to know. Often you must have seen them. When you see them. How do the birches look like? Loaded with ice a sunny winter morning. They are loaded with ice a sunny winter morning. It is sunny. The weather is sunny. Yes, still, Robert Frost is saying that the birches are loaded with ice. What does it mean? It's contrast. So Robert Frost is contrasting something here. How can the weather be sunny for a tree to be loaded with ice? The ice must melt. It must. They click upon themselves. So they don't do anything. They just still click upon themselves. As the breeze rises and turns many colored. As the stir cracks and crazes their animals. So all these are some descriptions that Robert Frost gives to the birches. How the birch look like. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, scattering and avalanching on a snow crust. So the effects of the sun on the birch that have been loaded with ice, that is, the sun is now melting the ice that is on the birch. You think the inner doom of heaven had fallen. So when the sun makes them melt, you would think the inner doom of heaven had fallen. The whole heavens have come down. There is water everywhere. There is ice everywhere. They are dragged to the weathered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed. So as the birch have been bowed by the boy or the ice storm, they seem not to break. They are hard. They are very hard. They seem not to break. And what happens next? So low for long, they never right themselves. Can a birch right itself? Because it has been bent by the boy or the ice storm, it would never get back to its former state. To be like that until it is destroyed, or it is until it is destroyed. Okay. You may see their trunks aching in the woods. So you may see them, most of them, that the birch will be aching in the woods. They will just be there. They'll be there forever. Years afterwards. So even how the birch have been bent, and they being unable to be changed into their former state, lives on forever. It's eternal. It's eternal. You would see why Robert Frost, or you would see the parallelism that Robert Frost brings into this with regards to himself. Like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. So he's comparing how the birch have been bent downwards, like girls with long hairs that dry their hair in the sun. And he continues saying, but I was going to say when truth broke in. So all what he's saying is not the truth. Because he assumed it was the ice storm. No, he assumed it was the boy. No, he wished, but it wasn't the boy. He just wished. But what truth did he know? With all her matter of fact about the ice storm. That means it was the ice storm that made the birch stay like that for a very long time. Because normally, when the boys or the girls or the children swing the birch goes back. But you need a force more than a human force to make the birch stay at one place. And that is the nature, the power of nature. Nature can make, and it can never be undone for the rest of your life. I shall prefer to have some boy bend them. Still, Robert Frost goes back. He still goes back to still say that he prefers. If you prefer something, that doesn't mean that is what is happening. So he prefers to have a boy bend them, just to take himself from the truth. Continues with some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only plea was what he found himself. So he's describing the boy. One by one, he subdues his father's trees by riding them over and over again. So the boy is swinging the birches until he took their stiffness out of them, and not one but hung them, not one was left. So the boy is describing the boy as being able to swing all the birches that he ever saw in his lifetime. He presumes, or he assumes, he prefers, he wishes, just mere wishes. For him to conquer, he learned all there was. Not learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. He always kept his voice. And to the top branches, climbing carefully with the same pains you used to fill a cup up to the brim and even about the brim. So Robert Frost is describing how steadfast the boy is, how steadfast he thinks the boy is, to his ability to swing a birch for it to keep still in that state. Then he flung upwards, feet first, with a switch. So when you are swinging birch, you see them with a switch, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. Just this imagery, giving us a picture's vividness of what's happening. So was I a swinger of birches. So Robert Frost is now telling you that he was once a swinger of birches. He swung the birch. He did. And I think we all did. And so I dream of going back to be. So I remember in the normal Akan adage that when you were a child and your mom gives your father enough meat and fish on his food, you say, "Oh, I wish I would be a father so that they will give me enough fish and meat to eat." But when you grow, that is when you see that there is a responsibility that comes with eating so much fish and so much meat. And so Robert Frost is saying that he wishes of going back to be. Why? Because he sees life at adult age as very stressful. The time he was a child, he could just play around, just enjoy life like the boy he was describing. Go play baseball, go and swing a birch, come home, do things that he was forever free to do. But now he's cornered. He has so much problems to face. So much. So this is bringing us on the idea of nostalgia. So he's nostalgic of his previous life, usually in his childhood days or boyish days. Why did he say he wishes to go back? He says, it's when I'm weary and life is too much, and when I'm weary of considerations, when it's weary of stress, and stress is disturbing his life. Because at a point, he lost almost all his family members, his immediate family members, not even the extended. And life is too much like a pathless wood. One of my friends, Christiana Sintim, On her WhatsApp bio, she's written, life is a pathless wood. What is a wood? A wood is a forest, just a forest. And they say it is pathless. Pathless, where you find no roots. Turn left, you are blocked. Turn right, you are blocked. Pathless. So before you saying life is a pathless wood, you won't know what is coming to happen to you in life until it happens. Until it happens. Where your face bends and tickles with the cobwebs. Looking across it and one eye is weeping. One eye is weeping. Why is one eye weeping? Can one eye weep? Can just one eye weep? I've never seen someone with only an eye weeping. Probably it could be of so much pain, inner pain, unexpressed pain, that will let just one eye weep. For my take having lashed across his open, I like to get away from earth a while. He would like to get away. Some people, when they are facing life challenges, they wish they are dead. They just wish they are dead. And he says he would like to get from earth a while. Get away from earth a while. And if getting away from earth a while, it could be death. He would like to die. I told you of his background. That is what is causing him to wish for death. Let's see how he puts it. And then come back to it and begin all over. Come back and begin all over. So Redford is saying that he would like to. Why can't you go to heaven and come back? That is the question. Can you go to heaven and come back? That is the question. And come and do it. Begin as a human. May no fate willfully misunderstand me. So he says, may you and I not misunderstand him. It doesn't mean he wants to die, as I've explained, or as the lines have even made known to us. He doesn't wish to die. But what does he wish to do? Let's see. And have grant what I wish and snatch me away. He said we have grant. So if we send him back to heaven, or we kill him, or we wish him dead, let's just have grants. What's the other half? And have grant my wish and snatch me away, not to return. Earth is the right place for love. And indeed, earth is the right place for love. That is where passions and intimations and imperfections are expressed. I don't know where it's likely to go better. So he says he doesn't know where it's likely that love goes better, if not on earth. I don't think hell would do. I like to go by climbing a birch tree. So he liked to even go. He still wants to go. By doing what? Climbing a birch tree. Enjoying life like a child. So he wished of going back to his boyish days. To the days he was a child. The days he had no problems. He had no stress. He had no child crying for money, crying for food, wife pregnant, daughter sick, and all those problems that comes with adulthood and parenthood. Let's see the end. And climb black branches up a snow white trunk. He said he wanted to climb black branches. So the black means the bad thing that happened to him. Up a snow white trunk. And that is one problem that I always have with the West. They paint Africans black. That is a debate for another time. Toward heaven. He's going where? Toward heaven. He's going towards. He didn't say he's going to heaven. At first he said, what did he say? I'd like to get away from earth a while. If you go away from earth, where are you going? Where do you want to go? You want to go underground or to heaven? Most people would normally prefer heaven. But going to heaven, you won't come back. Should I go? Now he's saying he's going towards, at the first instance, he said he's going away from earth. Now he's going towards heaven. If you are going towards someone, it's likely that you won't get to the person. It is likely that you meet the person. It's likely that you won't meet the person and you will come back. So he's saying he's going towards heaven. As he's heading there. You want a kind of feeling that is heaven-like. A heaven-like feeling for the meantime, so that as time goes on, he will be able to refurnish or rejuvenate his strength and come and face the kind of hell that is on this earth. So the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good, both going and coming back. One could do worse than be a swinger of Birches. So he's saying that one could do worse than be a swinger of Birches. So what does this poem talk about? This poem talks about life as a child and life as an adult. We all wish that we go back to enjoy the things that we were doing. But now age have caught up with you, and you can't do anything than to face it. You can't do anything than to face it. Okay. So the persona expresses his desire to escape from earth. How can you escape from earth? Through climbing a birch tree. And sometimes he even thought, because he doesn't want to face the fact, he's saying that it's the boy that have bent the tree. The tree symbolizes himself. I quite remember during one of our vacations, I watched a movie. The person was a tree. Whatever is done to the tree happens to the person. So the first was a tree, and its branch had been bent by nature, not by human making, but by nature. That is what the poem means. Let's take a look at some of the themes in the poem. Some of the themes in the poem. So one of the themes is that the poets wish to escape from earth through swinging of birches. The poet also expresses nostalgia in the things that he did in the past, because old age doesn't allow you to play like that. No. Also, the poet brings to bear the hardship of life. The hardship of life. It bends, and even when it's bending, one eye will be weeping, and the other eye will be looking on, and that is very, very deep. That is deep. And the poet also talk about freedom of boyish days, or freedom and innocence of the boy, or boyhood. When you are a child, you enjoy, but when you are an adult, you face the music. When you're an adult, that is when you'll be made to face the whole music, not a part of it, the whole of it. Okay. So that is the meaning of the poem. There are so many literary devices which is identifiable. There is contrast, alliteration, simile, analogy, onomatopoeia, run-on lines. They are all in the poem. As I've said, this is a poem about the hardship of Robert Frost, the hardship that he went through, the hardship. What is the tone of the poem? What is the tone? The tone of the poem is one of frustration and desire to escape from the world that the poet lives in. That's the tone. What is the mood? And the speaker's mood vary. There is mood for admiration. The poet admires nature. He's swinging the birches. How he described the birch tree with eyes loaded with ice, sunny winter morning. They all express how beautiful nature is. The attitude of the speaker is that of admiration towards nature and boyhood play of swinging of the birches. His hardship or his attitude toward hardship is that of despise or disdain. He hates hardship and he hates the adult age. So that is what the poem means. Any other comments or questions are allowed. Yes, they are highly, highly, highly welcomed. So this is where we bring today's poem about Robert Frost, that is Birches, to an end. This poem, every poem have a deeper meaning and a superficial meaning, or you call connotative meaning or denotative meaning. This poem is particularly superficial. It talks about the ice storm, birches, swinging of the birches, and the boy being the one that have bowed the birches. And deeply, it talks about problems that a human being goes through. Sometimes you go through a problem and you wish the problem is not permanent, but it's nature that has caught up with you. So that is the ice storm. The ice storm is nature. Nature is powerful. It affects. The power of nature can change. So nature changed Robert Frost, and as he compared himself to the birches, he couldn't do anything about it than to bear it, than to bear the life that nature brings to its path. So this is where we end it. Any questions are allowed. Don't forget to hit me up if you didn't understand anything, or if you have questions about the previous video. You can send your remarks, questions, explanations, and arguments. Yes, arguments are welcome. Arguments are the comment section. Okay, so the next time, which poem should I even talk about? Let me see. Robert Frost have some poems. He has Mending Wall. He has Acquainted with the Wind. Yes, and the others. I'll talk about Mending Wall. Yes. My next video will be talking about the poem Mending Wall. There are those who don't there are some people who don't like a wall, who don't want a wall, who make holes in it. They make holes in the wall. When people are building a wall, they make holes in it. Okay, so this is where we bring explanation to a close. Till next time, see you.